I learned this really great lesson a few years ago from Todd Mitchem, a little exercise that really stuck with me. And it is to help us understand what it is we sell and what our real goals are, what we're trying to accomplish. And the exercise is called I Would Never. Stick with me because it sounds psycho. The concept is to think of something that you would never do at an event. Be outrageous, right? So, simple example is this. I would never go out onto the dance floor during the bride and groom's first dance and slap the bride right across the face. I would never do that. Of course you wouldn't do that. But here's the exercise. Then you have to say to yourself, but if I did, what good things would come of it? Now you got to really test your optimism, but what good things would come of that? So let's play that out. What good things would come of that? Well, it would certainly be a memorable first dance, wouldn't it? People would talk about that first dance forever. People would certainly remember who the DJ was. So, and you could go on down that list for quite a while. It's certainly unique, something they've never seen before, right? So you can kind of go down this list. Now, the purpose of this is this. Like, okay, so those are really clearly good things. They're so good that I managed to find good out of slapping the bride during the first dance. So if they're that important, then what else can I do to make sure that the first dance is very memorable, that the people are talking about this DJ for a long time, that it's unique, that they've never seen it before, that it another thing would be, it would be super emotional, right? It really brought out the emotions. So what can I do with the first dance to make it unique? Bring out the emotions, make people talk about it forever and ever and ever. So now we know those must be the really good things. And you can do that with any part of what you do, right? So I would never greet a bride and groom walking into my office for a sales meeting by saying, oh, you idiots, God, I so was hoping you didn't show up, all right? But if I did, right, what good could come of that? And then I have to start really thinking. I'm like, okay, well, I'd have to learn how to dig myself out of a deep hole, which is, if you remember last week, was recovering from mistakes. That's a good lesson to learn, right? I certainly would have their full attention from the moment they got there. That's good. I would have people, like, whatever thoughts were in their head about a million other things when they got to my office, they're not thinking about any of that anymore. They are thinking only about me and what I'm going to do, right? So those are now really good things. So how can I accomplish those things without saying, I was hoping you wouldn't show up? So whenever you're putting together your website, or you're doing your welcoming, I would never say, hey, listen, bitches, to open a wedding. I would never do that. But if I did, what would come of it? They'd be listening, wouldn't they? And have everybody's attention. So we know that's a good thing, right? So you get where it's coming from. So play I would never with yourself. It forces you to think of what's really important, and then it forces you to think of ways to accomplish that without doing stupid things. I think I made it under a minute today. It always seems like it's under a minute. So hope that works. Thanks, Todd Mitchem. That has to be 10 or 15 years ago. He taught me that, and I've used it many times since then. I think it's a great lesson. See you next week.